I would like to remind you also that the meeting is being live streamed. So for those who may not be able to connect directly onto Zoom, they can also connect on Facebook and on YouTube. Greetings once again, and thank you for joining us. Brother Mbi will be joining us very soon. Let me check if Dr. Linus is here. Are you here, Dr. Linus? Okay, he is here.
Yes, I am here. Greetings
okay.
and good evening to all. Could you hear me?
Yes, you may proceed, Dr. Linus.
Is Brother Mbi can start? If he's on the line, I think he's muted.
Okay, that's right.
Is he on?
Yeah, he is on. Maybe he's connecting to the live streaming right now. So you may proceed whilst we are waiting for him.
Since it is being streamed live, let's get him to confirm that the live streaming is on and active and working, so that those who are watching from social media outlets can also follow this fully.
Good evening, everyone. I am here and I'm listening. I'm just wrapping up another meeting on the side, as you know, at home. But I am listening, and I will comment when necessary. It's actually streaming live, so at the end of the meeting, for those who are not here, they will be able to get the update on social media as well. And we are going to post the link as well on Connect, so that anyone who is not here will be able to access it. So Doc, you can go ahead.
I'm going to share my screen just to share a few slides, if that's okay, Brother Servius.
Yes.
I'm going to try and share my screen just to go through a few slides.
Okay, no, that's fine. You may go ahead.
I don't have the option to share the entire screen. Okay, let's see. PowerPoint.
Okay, it's coming up. Whilst Dr. Linus is sharing, if you have any questions or any queries, you can put them in the chat box. Our support team members who are here will also try and attend to those. So we are not allowing people to speak at this stage, but you can post whatever you want to say in the chat box. Thank you.
Sorry, just give me a second. I think I've lost the screen. That's one.
Okay,
right.
Dr. Linus is connecting. I see someone is saying you can't see anything. Can you see now?
Can you see now?
Yeah, you can see it now.
Yes.
Okay. So welcome everyone, and good evening. First, apologies for the missed sessions that we've missed. Brother Servius has already highlighted that, but we are making very good progress. What I would like to say is address a number of points, or just to re-emphasize the very raison d'etre for the community. As we all know, and we've said many times, there are over 1.7 billion people worldwide who do not have access to digital financial services. And we are now moving into a digital transaction world. where business and most other services and products can really be more conveniently accessed using digital technology or digital financial services. And what we want to do is change the narrative, particularly for the continent, where we have not just the highest level of those or concentration of those that are excluded financially. In some countries within continental Africa, that is higher than 80%, 90%. Of course, that is changing with the advent of mobile money and the initiatives that are going on in different countries across Africa, like the e-Naira, introduction of the e-Naira in Nigeria and others. But this is the reason why we're here. But the other problem that remains, and which we still need to focus our minds on address, is the fact that within continental Africa, we have over 40 different currencies. And today, despite the introduction of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which means free movement of people, goods, and services, and of course, investment, it is still a challenge for people to transact between themselves. And for the sophisticated, is not a problem, but for the vast majority of the citizens in many countries, transacting locally is all they know. And being able to exchange value with other people across the continent is something that is very important. And it is important because we cannot leave them out of the new digital revolution. That's why it needs to be inclusive. And that's why we need to continue to persevere and continue to work hard to see that we at least introduce some tools that can go some way in helping and changing the narrative. And I very much believe, and we all are, and we continue to be, that the LUMI would play that very important role across the continent because one, it is accessible to everybody, and two, people can exchange it in real time. And hopefully with that, we can drive trade across the community to start, and then engage with other institutions in order to begin to drive access through local interaction or local engagement with local institutions, local financial institutions. So the purpose is really to change that picture where we have 80% unbanked and perhaps 20% banked in many cases. But of course, we are in a transaction world or transaction economy where access and participation is very important for economic empowerment, economic liberation, and industrialization across the continent. So that is the reason, the very reason why we created the ecosystem, which brings together individuals, businesses, financial institutions into one real-time transaction ecosystem for exchanging value. So SWIFT, I mean, we may be having our challenges, but a lot of thinking has gone into creating that ecosystem that can deliver access to individuals, businesses, governments, in order for us to address the critical problems of our time or the critical challenges of our time. So by bringing individuals, businesses, financial institutions, and government agencies into one transacting ecosystem, then we can all begin to exchange value in real time. We can begin to participate in the new global digital economy. This is so important. And because of this open system, it just means that we are in a position where we are able to collaborate with all types of institutions across all regions in order to really cut across the borders across the continent and to interface seamlessly with the diaspora in this effort to address the two fundamental challenges. First, that of exclusion from accessing digital services, and the second of introducing a common medium of exchanging value for individuals, businesses, and governments so that we can work together to begin to address our economic challenges, which we all know about across many countries in Africa and the diaspora. So by creating that kind of ecosystem, we can change millions of lives. I remain very confident about that. And I remain very confident about the fact that the Lumi really is a very viable solution to the problems that we are having. And if many of you are following what is going on across the continent, and not just across the continent, of course, there are challenges of inflation. The cost of living is spiraling out of control in many economies around the world. And whereas in many advanced economies, strategies are being put in place to support and continue to support the economy so that it doesn't get derailed, we have to ensure that the dialogue continues for a similar level of intervention to be made accessible to continents, to continental African countries, so that we can continue to interface with the diaspora and then create the real opportunity for the diaspora to have its impactful influence across the continent, the way that we must have if we are to change the narrative. Okay, so in terms of reach, we continue to make progress. That's a map of exposure by country, as you can see. So there is global reach across the diaspora, and we need to just continue to keep this momentum alive. We need to keep it going. What I always say is that if you put the 1.3 billion people across the African continent together with perhaps another 600 million in the diaspora, then you are talking very easily around 2 billion population. Now, with that kind of presence, those kinds of numbers, I think any financial institution would want to interface with us to trade so that they can access the 2 billion people in order to do business with. Any meaningful economy within the diaspora would want to interface with us so that they could use the Lumi to access goods and services and natural resources across continental Africa, which still remains one of the world's richest melting pots for natural resources, some of which, of course, is not trickling down to the common person. As we know, if the measure of poverty and exclusion is anything to go by. Now, that narrative can only be changed by us, the diaspora, working together very closely with continental Africa so we can begin to shape the economic prospects for every country within the continent and the economic transformation and liberation of the citizens across every country as we interface effectively with the diaspora. And so we are, as we all know, when we talk about a transaction economy, it's about bringing buyers and sellers together in a very seamless way so that they can exchange value. And that is one thing that the Connect community stands to do very well with the Lumi and now the introduction of the various local currency tokens that we can have just to bridge that gap between the pricing of goods and services in Lumi and the way that people are used to accessing these goods and services priced in their local currency. So that is the place of the local currency tokens, just to facilitate that interface and ensure that people can really begin to use Connect and the Swiffen platform in a way that enables buyers to come together with sellers so that they can exchange value in real time. And if we are talking about free movement of goods, investment, and people, and providing a common ecosystem where that can happen and where that value, where value can exchange and goods and services can change hands, is a very, very powerful tool that we really ought to embrace firmly and continue to drive as much as we can. And of course, I think we all know the conversation is growing, okay? Within Connect, the interactive community today, interaction amongst community members is growing. As you can see, this is this month, okay? So we have in excess of 10,000 comments and exchanges that people are making. Now, whichever way we look at it, this is opening up the way for that conversation that needs to take place amongst our community, either from a light-hearted end of the spectrum to the more serious end in terms of what we need to be doing collectively as a people to bring about true economic transformation across the continent and true economic liberation for the individuals, so that we can really fight poverty, fight exclusion, and drive unemployment numbers down, because we know that youth unemployment is also a big challenge within the continent. And that cannot be addressed without liberating economic access and full economic participation of every individual. It is really through these initiatives that we can begin to change the narrative. So it is important that we continue to build, and we continue to do that steadfastly, steadily, despite all the challenges that we may have from time to time. We need to have faith, and we need to continue to keep the conversation alive across the community and keep going, because the responsibility to bring about change is ours and no one else's. We need to contribute to that change. And one day the time will come when we will all look back and smile and say we were part of that transformation. We were part of that movement. We were part of that revolution that really brought about the change that we now see all around us. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep the interaction going. Now, I'm going to touch on a number of additional points which I don't have on the slide. And the first one is the issue of the stimulus payments. Okay, I've seen many comments, both on Connect and in other interactions, that the stimulus payments have not been paid now for some months. That I sympathize with, and I understand fully. I mean, you have no idea how people had begun to look forward to the 28th when the stimulus would just simply drop into their account with great excitement. Now, we are not taking that away from you. The only challenge we have is that after the migration, and because of liquidity challenges, I have to be frank and open, because of liquidity challenges, we've had to sort of scale back on our infrastructure. We had ramped up the infrastructure to the extent that it could really handle millions of people and millions of transactions. But the costs associated with that also spiraled out of control. Another time when we don't have access to the ability to use some of the Lumi to convert to US dollars or so in order to pay those vital bills. And I say vital bills because that exchange needs to be kept alive in order for this interaction and this exchange to carry on. So what we have successfully done, and I'm glad to report that we have now managed to scale it back to the point where, even though it's scaled back, we have not given up on making sure that the performance is getting better and better and better. So I'm sure many of you will testify that now when you access the system, it is faster now than it was perhaps 3 months ago or so. Those that are still getting challenges to log in, we will assist you and we will make sure that you can gain access. But access is fully restored. Performance is much better than it was a few months ago. The only downside is that the transactions to pay stimulus, we are still fine-tuning that to make sure that we can pay quickly enough. And we have two propositions that we can look at. One, if we are not able to ensure that the transactions can be processed, all of them within 2 or 3 days, for example, then we might look at the possibility of paying a stimulus either quarterly, so you get the quarterly amount in one payment, or you get a 6 monthly amount in one payment, or even an annual amount, all aggregated. So if you have your account, then the full amount is then paid in a single transaction. And then you wait another 3 months or another 4 months or another 6 months, depending on the time window that we decide to implement. So those are some of the solutions that you can expect that will come in to address that, while creating the opportunity for us to continue refining the infrastructure in the back end. Now, of course, what we are doing is no mean task, okay? It is absolutely no mean task. If anybody tells you that it is, then they're probably living in a different world than the one that we are experiencing every day. What we are doing has never been done before, okay? There isn't a single ecosystem with the capability and the potential to bring together individuals, businesses, governments, and ensure real-time transaction amongst the entire community and across entire membership. And most importantly, creating the opportunity for each participant within that ecosystem to sort of have their own identity, potentially wide label their own activities, and so forth. It is absolutely no mean task, and we don't take it lightly. Some of us have just a few hours of sleep, if you must know, every day. And as frustrating as it may be, work goes on, work carries on. The effort is not being relented at any one point, and you can continue to remain confident that we will solve and address any challenges that come our way. Okay, I just wanted to say that. Now, in respect of people who registered on Connect, who have also been asking that, oh, but I have not received the stimulus because the stimulus payments in account was suspended for some time and people were asked to register on Connect. What we plan to do as a one-off activity is that on a particular date, we will announce the date. It would be before the end of this month. We will do a one-time transaction where we pay the equivalent of 6 months worth of Lumi stimulus to every account on Connect. Now, if it so happens that you are on Connect and you still receive your stimulus on account, then you can treat that as some kind of bonus. And a thank you for the time that we have been going through the challenges of getting the infrastructure to where we feel a lot more comfortable now that it's at. So those are the two things. And the support team is very much there. They're doing a fantastic job. I cannot personally thank them enough in the way that they are addressing and handling concerns from members of the community all across across the globe. And so a big thank you and a big round of applause to the support team and everyone who is really putting their foot down to make sure that this initiative continues and that we all get to see the light at the end of the tunnel sometime soon and see change in our time. That's the most important thing. We need to be able to see change and transformation in the lives of millions of people in our time. So this is not about coming in and making a quick buck. It's about us coming in as a community and beginning to shape the lives of others and to create opportunities for others and to connect individuals with opportunity so that we can change the narrative together. So I'm going to stop there. I hope I've addressed the key issues. I will hand the floor back to Brother Servius and Brother Mbi, and I am here. If there are any questions, then we can continue to address those questions throughout the session. So thank you very much. Over to you, Brother Servius.
Thank you, Dr. Linus. Whilst you are waiting for Brother Mbi to come back, maybe at this point, are you back, Brother Mbi?
I am here briefly, but
okay.
I was expecting that the chats will be going all wild because everyone is getting 6 months, but nobody is excited. So maybe it's not. Maybe it was not a good. It's not a good gesture. But in essence, what Dr. Linus has explained is really for all of us who are putting our hands to the plow here. We consider every single person, those who have been patient, those who are still, who are accompanying every single action of this movement. We consider every single one as important, and as we had indicated a few months back, nobody is going to lose out. We would rather have more people benefiting from this movement than anyone losing out. So the gesture, as Dr. Linus indicated, I just want everyone to really understand what it means. What it means is that if you are not on Connect, you are not going to get it. Okay, so for the people who are not yet on Connect, my suggestion is that within the next day or two, try and get onto Connect and try and get your account. The second element around that is that if you are on Connect and you had your account and you've been receiving the stimulus, consider it as an additional bonus for your endeavor. The third element is that this is a once-off. It's not going, we are not going to pay any stimulus on Connect. All the stimulus is going to be paid on account. Okay? We are just trying to draw a line under the people, the January, February migration and all the things that were happening. A number of people ended up not getting into the system and have not benefited from the stimulus payments yet. But the suggestion here is that this is a once-off. We'll draw the line under this, and after that, everyone else will only receive their stimulus on account. So you get into Connect, and then make sure you have your account activated so that the next run of the stimulus will be paid in account. From here, we are not going to entertain. In fact, the support team is not going to waste time on people who would send tickets only to say that they are registered on Connect and have not received the stimulus. If you are registered only on Connect, know that from here on out, no stimulus is going to be paid on Connect. So the support and everyone else who is working in the background is not going to waste. We are not going to waste time to be dealing with people who are on Connect and are not on account and do not have not received their stimulus. So it's a once-off, and we draw the line. Anyone who is only on Connect, make sure you activate your account on account. Thank you very much. Brother Serv, you can carry on from there. Maybe from this point, we'll take questions, or except there's anything additional that you want to for the service.
Yeah, I think you have said it all. I see already there were a lot of questions that we're talking about. Some were saying, what if we are not registered on Connect? So what I would suggest is that please, within the next day or two, please register. Also, my brother from Nigeria, Dr. Joseph Prince, you were also saying most, if not all, members registered in some state in Nigeria had not received. So I hope this is good news for you in terms of those that registered on Connect and have not received anything. However, I would like to encourage those that are registered on Connect to also register on Swifin if you had not registered on Swifin already. So this is very important. So if there are any questions in the chat that may not be related to what we have already explained, then I will kindly ask maybe Sister Pauline, Brother Patrick, Brother Elad, if you can assist in identifying those questions that need to be addressed. Thank you.
Yes, sir, I have.
Please, yeah, you may go ahead. Was that Sister Pauline?
Yeah, I just wanted to endorse what our brother Mbi was saying, just for clarity. Anyone here that registers on Connect, it is imperative that once you've registered on Connect, you have to register for your Swifin account, which is your 16-digit number. If I'm incorrect, Brother Mbi, please correct me, because it is two separate entities. You have Swifin Connect, which is a public platform, and you have your Swifin account, which is your personal platform, which is 16 digits. Please do not get them confused and thinking this is one entity. It is two separate entities. It's just that the Connect platform is the doorway to all the other facilities that Swifin will provide. Thank you.
Yeah, and in addition to that, once you register on both platforms, there are sections where you have to link the two. So in other words, when you are in Connect, you also need to put your Swifin ID and vice versa. When you're in Swifin, you need to put your Connect ID so that the two accounts are linked. That's very important. Any other questions or comments?
Can I come in, Chief?
Yes, please come. You can come.
Thank you. I think two of the burning issues that we have been receiving as support. Can you hear me?
Sorry, let's see. Okay, I'm going to
in one area.
There's someone who's talking.
Okay, I may have to mute everyone and then you can unmute yourself, Brother Patrick, for you to speak. Okay, Brother Patrick, you can unmute yourself and speak now.
Thank you, Chief. I was saying two of the burning issues we have been receiving as support have been with regards to people registering for Swifin accounts. The first one being that when someone would register for a Swifin account, the procedure being they will receive an email, a verification email with a link that they should click on to verify their email address. And after they have successfully verified their address, they are supposed to receive a second email with their Swifin ID and a password code. We have had a couple of reports, people saying they did not receive their second email. And as a result, they do not have their Swifin ID and they cannot access their account. The second one being that a number of people have reported that once they are registered on Connect using an email address, when they now try to register for a Swifin account using the same email address, the system will give an error message that says their email address is not unique. And at the end of the day, they were not able to use the same email address. I'm sure Dr. Linus can help us on those two.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Patrick. On those 2 points, now, if you use an email address to create a Connect profile, you can use the same email address to acquire a Swifin ID, okay? You can use the same email address. The system will not stop you. If at the time when you're trying to get a Swifin ID, it says that the email address is not unique, then that email address has already been used to create a Swifin ID. So in that case, you should immediately submit a support ticket, perhaps with your email address that you try to register with and your full names so that it can be checked, because it appears that somebody who already has an account registered in a particular email address is trying to create another one. The system will not allow that because they have to be unique. The reason they do need to be unique is because at some point, Instead of using the SWIFT ID, which is a long 16-digit number, we will introduce the ability to use just the email address and the telephone number, for example, in order to execute transactions, which is more convenient and easier for people to remember than a long 16-digit number. So please do provide an email address that you have access to. We are aware that the vast majority of people across the continent don't have an email address or may not have an email address. So we are looking to provide a solution for that by actually provisioning an email server, which will allow them to create an email address on the fly and then use it. The advantage of doing that is that we would then be able to support those people better, because if you have a Gmail account or you have a Yahoo Mail account and you lose access to that account, we can't help you. But if we create and provision the ability for you to create an email address, a SWIFT email address, for example, then if you run into challenges or difficulties in future, then the support team can actually go and help you. They can go to that email address, they can look at the profile there, and if there are any challenges, they will help you better. We really sincerely believe that that would be a step in the right direction in addressing some of the existing challenges that we have seen on the field. Okay, I just thought I'd say that. It is work in progress. It's not done yet, but we are on path to making that happen. Okay. Now, on the issue of clicking and not getting a second email, I would suggest that if somebody comes across that kind of a problem, they should take a screenshot, and then when they are submitting a support ticket to get help, they provide the screenshot. That way we can see exactly what is going on and what they are experiencing, so that we can help them better. Now, the one thing I have to say, and it is important to say this, is that because of the nature of what we are trying to do, there is a high probability that we get third-party attacks on our system, right? And so because of that, we have put additional safeguards in place, which means that sometimes it is actually more challenging and more difficult to access the system. It's not an error, it's by design, okay? Because what we're doing is we don't know who is sitting at the other side of the screen. And so we use various technologies to try and mimic the behavior of a person versus the behavior of a robot. Of course, the behavior of somebody who is frustrated in accessing the account and wanting to try it many, many times could begin to edge towards a behavior that cannot be deemed to be a normal way of a user interacting with the system. So once the system spots that kind of thing is going on, it blocks you and it blocks your access. It may block the access in a very subtle way. You try to log in and you can't log in. Sometimes it might tell you that it has been blocked and actually give you a warning that you can't access now for some time until the block is taken off. So please bear with us while we try to fine-tune all these things. They are necessary. They are absolutely necessary in order to ensure that we have a system that is, one, accessible, two, very secure, and three, that can fight off any potential attack from third parties that don't necessarily like what we are doing. Okay? So if you notice behavior like that, there could be a number of reasons why that may be the case. And if so, please just try again, give it a few minutes, and then try again. Okay? Even when you want to log in and it doesn't let you in the first time because of one reason or another, okay, fine, just calm down, go make a cup of coffee or something like that, and then try again. 90% of the time, you would find that that works. Now, if it is a robot or another sort of engineered computer that is sitting trying to attack our system, it wouldn't necessarily behave in the way that I'm explaining to you now that you should try. The other trick, which works for some people, I have tried it myself and it has worked, is that when you log in, sometimes it looks as if nothing has happened. Okay, so what you do is just refresh your screen, or just click a button of where you want to go to. If you are using your mobile phone, just pull down the screen on your mobile phone to refresh, and you'll find that it will let you in. Okay, we're trying various techniques, and just please bear with us as we refine those techniques to protect your account and protect your access. But I must say that it is a lot more stable now than it was 2 months ago, and it is getting better by the day. It's also a lot faster to access. I'm not sure if there are people here from different parts of the world that can testify to that in terms of the way that they access it. We want to know these things so that if we need to throw more resources behind the system, whether it's CPU or RAM or more computers or more servers across the different jurisdictions, then we can do that. At the moment, we are really playing a balancing act between throwing too much resources to it, so it's super fast and super easy to access. At the same time, keeping down the cost so that we can sustain this for as long as it takes. Okay. I hope that addresses the two questions.
Thank you, Dr. Linus.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Brother Patrick.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
Right. I need to come in, Dr. Linus. I'm coming in on one element regarding supports, whereby people that need to raise tickets, currently the system requires them to buy a plan. I don't know whether in your early submission you did cover that, and
okay.
if I missed out, because
yes.
that's naturally becoming an impedance for them to raise tickets, and also probably members of staff even to if they log out to then go back to the tickets.
Okay, that's a very important point, and thank you very much for bringing that up. I did mention on one of our meetings that there are, if we sit back and we think to ourselves that the infrastructure would pay for itself and we can all get the support that we need without spending a dime, then we are living in a different world. Then we are mistaken. Now, of course, if it was the case that 6 months ago or 12 months ago, the Lumi was immediately made available and then made convertible to US dollars and euros, then we would just take that and then pay for the servers, pay for the email services, and pay for all the other technologies that we need. Unfortunately, at the moment, our cost base is still in US dollars or euros or pound sterling. And so we need to try and make sure that what we are doing is sustainable. And so for that, that's why we've introduced the support plans, so that if you pay a support plan, then you are actually contributing to keeping the ecosystem alive that will benefit not just our generation, but hopefully the generations to come. And one is not saying that the SWIFT ecosystem is the be-it-all and the end-it-all. We are developing APIs that other independent service providers can plug into, and there are some organizations that are testing this already. But nonetheless, we want to demonstrate what is possible. We want to show that where there is a will, we can change the lives of millions of people if we want to do it. Okay, and so we need to keep this ecosystem going in order for us to tell that story and for us to see this happen in our time. Okay, so if you want to post a ticket, that is a paid service. If you want to chat with other people, I think there are 2 areas at the moment where if you click, you need to be part of a plan. And that is the chat and posting support tickets. Okay, if you just need help without wanting to pay for a support plan, then you can go to documentation directly and read the documentation that is there, and we would endeavor to continue to populate that knowledge base so that it contains absolutely every area where you might have a question. That is a commitment from us, and we will continue to do that. And so that's one way you can get support completely free. You don't have to get a support plan at all. The other way you can get support, of course, completely free is you post within the community interactive messaging system. And either a member of the support team that feels able and chanced to be able to provide a comment to your question, they might do that. But the advantage of doing that is that other members of the community who had experienced the same problem before would be able to help you, okay? They will be able to comment and say that this is how you do that. So that is done for a reason to promote community knowledge sharing, okay? I know right now, most of the comments that you see on Connect are, oh, great, this is nice, wonderful, how are you? All great. But what we expect to see that is that going forward, there would be, this would encourage a more meaningful and more engaging conversation, which is geared towards problem solving to help other people on the community to address and find answers that they are looking for, completely free. And of course, you all know that when you post a response, you get paid. So we're not asking community members who have knowledge to share that knowledge for free. No. So when you have knowledge and you post your answer to a question that somebody else has asked, you will get compensated automatically, okay? Many people may not be aware of this, but when you post a response, you get a certain amount of AKX paid directly into your account. And with all intents and purposes, 1 AKX is 1 Lumi. It's just that it gives us a way of distinguishing it from the Lumi, which is the digital currency. And in the same way, NGX, for example, gives us a way of distinguishing the NGX that we have on the platform, which is a token on the platform, and the Nigerian Naira, for example, that you might have in your account, okay, and so forth. So that in itself is an opportunity, I believe, to encourage that exchange on Connect and to share knowledge, and so that we should be able to help each other out. Now, if you really think about it, that makes sense, because today, perhaps we are at 1.7 million people. The continent itself is 1.3 billion. By the time you get to those kind of numbers, let's say even 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million people, and you are serving those millions of people across that community, you can be sure that many people know how the system would work inside out, and they'll be able to help others. And so we are not relying on a much smaller community support team to provide answers to the community, but to provide answers in a way that is, one, real time for the user, and two, that could benefit somebody else. Because if I have a question and I pose that question and I get an answer, and somebody else had the same question, all they need to do is read my answer. But if I post that in a support ticket, it's private, okay? A support ticket is private. Now, what that means is that if you have more private things that you want to deal with, then really you should be posting a support ticket. But if it's just a general question on how to use the platform or how to do something that somebody else might already know, then Connect, posting your question on Connect and getting some other community members to help you is really the way to go. That way we can scale to millions of people, and people can get the answers they need quickly. And we would have millions of people out there who can provide answers to the questions that people have. Okay, so that's the idea, and I hope we can put it to good practice and good use, and I hope it answers and addresses the question that he asked.
It is, well, thanks. It was clear to me. I hope many of us who are on the platform understood as well.
Thank you. I see Sister Pauline, you've already answered to Galaxy 02. The issue of registering on Connect and on Squiffin, doesn't necessarily mean that you will be having two accounts of the same type. One account on Connect and another one on Swifin. Though these two accounts will be connected, then it doesn't mean that you will be having two accounts that you will be receiving your stimulus on. Remember earlier on, Dr. Linus highlighted that the payment on Connect is going to be a once-off thing. However, the stimulus will continue on the Swifin platform. So let's not confuse the two. Is there any other questions here? Let's see. I see Brother Kemio, you mentioned about hard wallet. Well, all I can say is, firstly, the Lumi is a central bank digital currency, and it's not cryptocurrency, it's a digital currency. So that brings us to the exchange. So whatever you want to do that cryptocurrencies can do, you will then be able to perform that once you have moved the Lumi to the exchange. Otherwise, when it's still on this other side, it's the digital currency, central bank digital currency. But when you move it to the exchange, then whatever you can do with cryptocurrencies, then you'll be able to do with the Lumi once it has been moved to the exchange through the various methods that we will explore and discuss. I'm not sure if we are going to have enough time today to discuss the exchange, but for now, let's limit our questions to the Connect and Swifin. I see Venon, your hand is up, then Sandra Zikali. So let's start with Venon.
A point of interjection, Chief Saviors. If you could alert Adekune to mute. He's interrupting.
Okay, I'll have to mute everyone and then you have to unmute to speak. So Venon, you can unmute yourself and speak, then Sister Sandra Zikali, you'll come.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. Dr. Linus, I just want to assure you that your presentation was very, very informative and very refreshing, especially the part that we were informed that all the people registered and Connect will be getting a lump sum payment. I want to assure you that all my team members will be very to hear that. Okay. All right. What?
Okay, I'm going to mute everyone, and Brother Venon, you unmute yourself to continue speaking, please. Okay, you can unmute yourself now. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Yes, I can also assure you that I've seen a lot of improvement in the progress of the platform. And as I was telling some of my members, the main problem we are having now is just the payment of the stimulus. And I think the last time I came, I was told that it would be slow until you get additional servers to improve on the performance of the payment. Right, so I'm really happy that I can bring back the news to tell them that everyone will be getting a lump sum payment very soon. Before the end of this month.
Correct.
All right. Our next question is that, okay. All right, the next question I want to know, those people that were registered, that had a Swifin account from last year, but did not say they were not registered in the Connect until this month or even last month. That means that there would be a lapse between the Connect and the Swifin. I want to know if the payment will continue from last year straight up without any break, or it would affect the stimulus that they will be getting.
Okay, a very important point. All the stimulus payments to the last, every single month will not be missed on the SWIFT account. Every single payment will be made. So if you haven't received it, then it's just queued and it's being processed. So even as we speak right now, I don't know whether there is anybody online who has checked their account today, who has received a stimulus payment today. Those payments are being processed. They are going out, okay? So nobody will miss anything. They have all been queued and they will all be processed. Now, at some point, when we are able to sort of discover where the bottleneck is, and that bottleneck is unlocked, then you just get, there will be an influx of payments to the last for every stimulus that was scheduled for every month. Okay, it will just come in. But I can assure you that they are all already queued. They are in the queue, just waiting to be just being processed. Now, it is important to say that please, for each stimulus payment, remember that we are making 5-tiered transactions for the commissions. That is the T1C, T2C, T3C, and so forth. So if you check your account, you'll see T1, T1C, T2, T3, T4, all the way to T5. So for one stimulus payment, there are effectively 5 additional payments that need to be executed in order for it to be complete. So that multiplier effect increases the number of transactions that have to be executed almost exponentially. And what that also means is that there is more to be processed instead of just a one-to-one transaction. Okay, so just bear that in mind. But we are finding answers daily to try and address it and optimize it and make sure that it doesn't cause a bottleneck going forward. Now, this doesn't affect the transactions between individuals. So you can log in at any time and you can execute your transaction if you want, anytime. That should not be affected. Okay. The stimulus payment and the queues are just running in the background and they'll just do their thing and carry on doing it. With respect to the stimulus payments on Connect.
Okay, all right, let me get it clear. Let me get it clear before I move. All right, so if you had a SWIFT account from last year, January,
yes,
but you did not create your Connect account until last month or this month. That means that once you create your Connect account, then your payment will go right back from last year, January to this.
No. Your payment on the SWIFT account will not be interrupted. That is scheduled and will go as planned. So if you registered last year, then you will get every single month's payment. You will. I guarantee you that because they're already on the queue. Now, what we are doing is that because there was an interruption, the interruption was an inconvenience. It was a source of heartache for many people. It was an interruption of business activity and all that for many people. And so the one-time stimulus, the one-time bonus payment that we are going to make on Connect is just a one-time to say that thank you for bearing with us and thank you for joining Connect when we invited you to join Connect so that we can carry on with the journey, okay? And it doesn't matter when you register on Connect. The day that the payment is made, everybody who has an account will receive the same amount. It doesn't matter whether you've had your account only for 2 days. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
That is great. That is great.
So it's a one-time thing. It will be a one-time thing, and we will announce the date that it will be made. I'm hoping that it will be this month, before the end of this month. But what that means is that if you create your account on Connect, you will get that. It doesn't matter whether you created the account in January or February or March. No, the one-time thing. Everybody on Connect gets a bonus payment of 6 months worth of stimulus payments.
That's great. That's great. That's great. That's great.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Right. Thank you. If you are answered, can we then move on to Sandra Zikali?
Please do. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sandra, you can unmute your mic. Okay, you may speak now.
Okay, good evening. Thank you so much for God bless you so much for the great work that you are doing. I just have got one question to ask. I registered some people. I'm in Zimbabwe. So when you're trying to check their 16-digit account numbers, sometimes it comes out same name and surname. Is it possible for one to check using the country or date of birth? Because sometimes it really confuses because you get a lot of names and surnames. So you want to know which one is the 16-digit account numbers.
All right. Thank you. If I may ask, is it still happening for the last few days or last week, or it happened at some point during the recovery period?
Okay, maybe I missed out the time of the meeting. It has been happening for the past month, I think. I didn't check for the past 2 weeks because even if I was trying to log in on my SwiftNI account, it was refusing for the time.
Okay.
So I'll check it.
Yeah, you need to check it now. It should be all right, unless if there is anything. Maybe any member of the support team can come in here. Whether we are still having that problem.
Okay.
Just to make a quick comment, I mean, clearly, there are people who have similar names. For example, I'm a case in point. My name is Linus Etube. I have a son who is also called Linus Etube. He bears my names completely, but he's Linus Etube Jr. So the point I'm making there is that there are people with names that are close and similar. So I think we need to check and confirm that if you are retrieving a SwiftN account or SwiftN ID for an individual, just make sure that the names match. Get them to tell you what their email address is, for example, and cross-check with that.
Okay.
That's all I can say. And if you get stuck, then post a ticket, contact the support team, and they will help you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see Juanita waiting.
Good evening, Dr. Linus and surveyors, everybody down there. I just want to say thank you very much for all the hard work. I've got a member that was on Connect. So I'm so scared now to register them on the for the SwiftN ID, because what happened is the ID that she used for Connect worked very well. And when she went over to get the SwiftN ID, then it said that the ID was SwiftN, the email was like unique. So then she used the second email because she's got 2 email addresses. And then she used the second one and the same thing happened. And it said that the email is unique. So now I'm like stuck because she's trying like to send a ticket through, but we can't get through to send the ticket. So what must she do, because she's got like two email addresses now?
Sorry, there's someone who is, let me check who that is.
Yeah, as I've explained, if you can't post a ticket because you don't have a support plan to post a ticket, then maybe you could post it in the community and somebody will pick it up and maybe provide. The one thing we cannot guarantee is the time that will be dealt with. We also cannot guarantee that the answer that you get will come from a member of the support team. Okay, if you post in the community wall or where they, but that's one way of doing it. And then if a member of the support community picks it up, then they will be able to look into it in the background and they will be able to get back to you with a response.
Thank you, Dr. Linus. Is it maybe possible, like for, just make an example, maybe like if we get like an email address for Brother Patrick, maybe just to send her details with the 2 email addresses, maybe, I don't know, I'm just asking if we can do it like that, if it is possible.
Yeah,
because I do understand.
Yeah,
I do understand what Dr. Linus is saying about. I do understand what Dr. Linus is saying about the expenses and things like that. So what I was like thinking, isn't it like if we can just do it like that, then it's not that everybody can see it. Your email addresses and things that's lying around. I don't know, maybe.
Well,
That's true. I mean, the ticket is private, of course, and therefore it's best to use a ticket. The reason why we don't encourage people asking important questions by sending an email is that if you send an email to Brother Patrick, it goes to Brother Patrick. No other member of the support team can see that issue. And so if Brother Patrick is too busy to handle your request, then your request could take very long to resolve, and you'd have to wait until he comes back. Let's say he's on holiday. But if it is done through a ticket, we have more than probably between 60 and 100 support members of the support team who would at the same time see that ticket and therefore would be able to pick it up and address it. And so the way that it works is the first person who is in a position to solve your problem would pick up your ticket and then address it for you. And that's it. So it's much faster and it's more efficient. If you send emails, you might not get the same sort of rapid, efficient way of handling your query. And we just want to avoid that, because remember, we are preparing ourselves to handle millions of accounts and be able to support millions and millions of people efficiently. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Linus. Okay, Dr. Linus. I do appreciate it. Thanks for everything.
Thank you, Sister Pauline, then Ambassador Yasmin Rowe.
Right, thank you very much. I just wanted to make a comment because a lot of the queries are coming in with the same issues and they're unable to get to their Swifting account. And I just wanted to make it blanket so that everyone can hear. Once you've registered on your Connect, on Connect, at the top right-hand side, you would have your avatar or a little circle with your initial on it. If you click on that once, there is a drop-down menu. You can go to your Swifting account from there, okay? And then that's where you would type in your 16-digit number. If you have not already done it, you would type in your 16-digit number, okay? And then you would type in 44 lowercase c, lowercase c. Then you will be taken to a new menu where you'll be able to input a password of your choice. You can only do that once, okay? Because once you've created your password, you cannot use the 44cc again, okay? So I just want to put that out there because the number of queries are coming in with the same, asking the same question. So I just wanted to answer everyone that was asking that question all at once. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope that made sense.
Thank you. I think it was clear. Ambassador Jasmine Roy, then Kalam Davids, in that order, please.
Oh, good evening. I'm sorry, my internet keeps cutting out, but I wanted to ask a question. I mean, obviously, a lot of us are SOAD members and get paid in Lumi. I wanted to know, has all the changes, has it affected the salary that we would receive from SOAD in Lumi? Has there been anything that affects it? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Ambassador Jasmine, how are you? Great to hear your voice.
Good to hear you too, Dr. Linus. Long time.
Yes, it's a long time. To answer your question, no, it hasn't been affected. The support plans that have been introduced mean that you can only make payments of a certain amount every day, okay? So if you are on the free tier, then you can pay, I think the free tier is you can pay 0.99 Lumi or something like that every day. If you pay the starter plan, and by the way, the starter plan is, I think is $199 to set up and $199 per year, okay, for a year. That's a whole year. okay, 199 plus 199 setup fee, then you can pay up to 999, I believe. And then the next plan up, which is the individual plan, takes the amount up to 999 or something like that. And then the business plan and the premium plan is unlimited. Okay, you can pay any amount you want. So SOWAD needs to subscribe to one of those plans. And if SOWAD is making payments to many ambassadors in Lumi, then SOWAD, being a state which is, I think the best plan would be for SOWAD to have at the minimum either the premium plan or the enterprise plan. Both of those plans have no limit on the amount that you can pay, okay? The difference between the two is just with one, you can create third-party applications and interconnect so that you can go build your own app and then use that app to interconnect within the account to do transactions in Lumi. So I hope that answers your question. So it is yes and no. Yes, in that they have to subscribe to a plan, which allows them to, SOWAD would have to subscribe to a plan, which allows SOWAD to execute transactions from a SOWAD account of beyond a certain amount, because they need to make those payments every month. And no, it's not affected, because once you have the plan, you can do what you want.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, one more thing, please. One more thing,
okay.
Sorry. Is that, can SOWAD pay in Lumi, or do they have to pay in fiat currency?
No. All the support plans are paid in fiat, and we get the fiat. Sister Jasmine, the reason we need that is because we need to pay for the servers and we need to pay for the infrastructure. All of it is in, unfortunately, we haven't built our own data center yet. And when we mobilize ourselves sufficiently to build one, where we can charge everybody else in Lumi and use the resources ourselves, then yes, the answer at that point would be yes. But today, we use infrastructure from all the major culprits around the world. And unfortunately, the servers have to be paid for in US dollars or euros. In fact, one of the recent interruptions that we had, even though it was short-lived, was that the infrastructure we were using before, which we migrated to in January, February, was too expensive. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous, costing something in the region of between $15,000 to $20,000 every month. And so we very quickly thought that would not be sustainable, and we had to sort of scale it back to another infrastructure, which is, I can now say with confidence that we can continue to pay for that for as long as we have to. So that's where we are. So the simple answer is no. The support plans are paid for in fiat, because we need to cover fiat-related costs in order to keep the infrastructure accessible. Without that, the system will not be accessible, and you wouldn't be able to access your Lumi, because remember, Lumi is a central bank digital currency, and we need the technology infrastructure to distribute it, issue it, and distribute it. Okay. Without technology, we can't issue Lumi, because it's not in, you can't take it to the press and print paper and then distribute the paper. But even if you printed notes and coins, there would be a distribution cost associated with actually securing it and delivering it all over the world. But with the digital version of it, we can really distribute that very quickly and very fast, and we can also issue it very quickly and very fast. And we have built the infrastructure in such a way that it can interface very easily with other digital currencies around the world, obviously subject to approval of the local entities involved. So for example, within our ecosystem, we already have made provision for the digital Naira. We've already made provision for all the digital currencies around the world. Okay, it's already been built in. And when the time comes for integration, as the conversations are going, then that would then become easier.
Thank
so
you.
unfortunately, that kind of infrastructure, it's expensive and it costs money. So answer is no, we will not accept payment for support plans in Lumi for now. But once the Lumi becomes convertible, then those support plans can then be reviewed and the payments can then be converted in Lumi or removed completely where necessary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Linus.
Our last query is from Callum Davis, and then we wrap up. Thank you.
Evenings, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You may go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
We register people in Cape Town, right? So when people come to us from other agent, they don't have their SWIFT numbers, nothing. How do we help them by getting these SWIFT ID numbers?
All right. By saying helping them to get SWIFT ID numbers, are these registered
They were
members?
registered by another agent, but now they come to us without these SWIFT ID numbers. So how do we get access to that to help them?
Okay. I'm sure if they report to the support, they will be assisted. Or if you are the ones who registered them, maybe you may report on their behalf if they can't report. But they can be assisted through the support, the help desk.
Okay, so does that mean we have to put in a ticket for them?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, another thing is, of course, we are always very keen to make sure that we have quite a good presence of supporting members everywhere. So if you are having to deal with a large number of people, then maybe what you could do is have a conversation with our support team, and then you could join the support team. And with, if you join the support team or part of your team joins the support team, then they will be able to acquire additional knowledge on how they can support people.
Yeah, because our members, we stand by, say, 4,500.
Okay,
members.
So it sounds like, Brother Servius, we need to have a conversation to see if we can bring some members of that community into the support team so they can.
Yeah, which organization do you represent?
No, we're not with the organization. It's me and my sister.
Oh, okay. No,
Okay.
yeah, I think we will need to have a conversation with you. Do you have my number?
No, I don't. Can I have it?
Yeah, sure. I'll post it in the chat box. You can contact me.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right. Whilst I'm posting it, is there anything else that needs to be clarified? Maybe from the chat box. Any member of the support team who has picked up something? I'm just typing the number here.
Hello, Chief Servius. I just want to help people. I've seen certain clarity. People need clarity on one issue. On the payment of the stimulus studies. The stimulus has always been paid, like Dr. Linus did mention, on the SWIFT account holders. That is on the SWIFT old platform accounts. Now, the new development is that for you to access the old platform, you need to have been registered on the Connect platform, because on the Connect platform dashboard, you have the access icon to your old account through accounts icons. It will lead you to go to your old account. So if what Dr. Linus has said, for those who have always been registered on the Connect as of January, February, I think, are the ones that has prompted them to decide that they are not going to then backdate people to February, January, but offer everyone as a bonus. For it is tedious work for them to do that. They've granted a blanket bonus to every one of us who is on the Connect, whether you have been registered yesterday, whether you have been registered far back as February, we're still going to be paid the same amount. That's the first thing that he said. And going forward, the stimulus will be paid to everyone who is registered on the SwiftFin platform, who holds a SwiftFin account. So there is need for everyone to have those two, to be registered on those two platforms, on the Connect and on the SwiftFin old platform, which I'm deeming old for them to understand, because others are asking questions regarding that. So we have two platforms on which you must be registered, on the Connect and on the SwiftFin platform, which is deemed the old platform. I hope that is clear to many of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Elad, for clarifying that. I see. I don't know if Brother Venon, is it your second hand up or?
Yes. Thank you very much. I forget a serious problem that I'm having. Cannot get in my account from a good while, and then it seemed like support is not able to deal with the problem, because when I could get into my Connect, I send a number of ticket. I think Patrick was the one who deal with it, pertaining to my SwiftFin ID. Right? I finally found it, and then I was able to get in while she was trying to help. But for some reason, the password, I don't know what happened, but after a while I could not get in because of the password. And what happened, support said that they send email to me, but when they send the email to me, I cannot receive it. Right? I'm now locked out of my Connect account. I do password, or did I replace password? And even when I send that and they say that an email is sent to my account, I cannot receive it. But ironically, I received email when the email was sent, a few emails was sent recently asking me to rate support, right? And which I rate, and I say click on it and I rate it and send it back. I've not received any response since pertaining to that. So I don't know, I check all my inbox, everything, and there's nothing there. But when they send the email for rating their service, I was able to receive that one. So I don't know what's the problem.
Chief, can I?
Please.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember Brother Venom with his ticket. I think only Dr. Linus can help us with this one. It seems Venom registered with a certain email address, which he may at this point not be able to access or have forgotten. I'm not sure. The reason being that when I initiated a password reset for his account on the system, he was supposed to receive that email with a new password code, which he must use. But unfortunately, when I initiated that password reset, he did not receive the email. And to me, it means he no longer has access to the email address that is registered on his account. It needs someone like Dr. Linus to check which email address is registered on his account and then assist him from there.
All right. I guess you can escalate it through the normal escalation channel, and then Venom will be assisted.
Can you answer this question as why did I receive the assessment, right? Assessment email in terms of rating the service.
The assessment email, my brother,
why did I receive that when I didn't, and I cannot receive it?
It's on Connect. It's sent to your email address on Connect. Here we are talking specifically about the email address registered on your Swifin account.
That's correct.
Right, but I have no more email address. Right, as I told you before, I have a son. We are both Vernon, but he's Vernon Jr., but our email address.
Okay. The other thing that may have happened, Brother Venom, is there may have been a spelling error on the email address on your Swifin account. As a result, you are not able to receive emails from Swifin via your Swifin account. Something is not right.
Yes,
okay, so we'll look into it, Brother Vernon. It will be escalated and we'll look into it. The message, what Brother Patrick is saying, the message is coming from one platform and the problem or challenge is from another platform. So we'll look at the platform where you are having challenges. So he's going to escalate it and it will be looked into.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think we can wrap up now. Just hold on.
The other question that, of course, Brother Servius, people are asking is the exchange. With the exchange, we were fine-tuning certain things. I think we are there now. The changes that we need to make now are more cosmetic than anything. The back end is very robust, and we expect and anticipate that it will be opened sooner rather than later, potentially before the end of this month. But we will announce the precise date and time.
Thank you. I think we can. You can open up your videos if you just want to say hello and goodbye. But I would like to thank you very much for attending, and most importantly, thank you for your patience when we were going through these trying times. And I hope you are all going to enjoy the bonus that Dr. Linus spoke about. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day. Good night, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night, sir. Good night. Good night. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
You can say goodbye in your language, in your local language.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
I say last part time. Good night.
Everybody just talk.
Buenas noches. Bonsoir.